He thought his badge made him untouchable, but one woman walked into that courtroom and changed everything. Officer Daniel Hayes had built his reputation on fear. In his city, people didn't question him, they avoided him. The sound of his patrol car was enough to make drivers nervous, enough to make pedestrians lower their gaze. His badge wasn't just a symbol of law, it had become his shield for power. Over the years, he bent rules, ignored complaints, and treated ordinary citizens like they were beneath him. Reports were written his way, stories shaped in his favor, and somehow, everything always worked out for him. And no one dared to stand up, until one case went too far. One quiet evening, under the dim glow of streetlights, Daniel pulled over a woman named Elena Cruz. She hadn't been speeding. She hadn't broken any law. She was simply driving home after a long day. But Daniel was irritated, looking for control, and that was enough. He approached her car with authority in his voice and accusation in his eyes. License and registration, he demanded sharply. Elena handed them over calmly, her expression steady. Was there a problem, officer? That simple question triggered him. He accused her of reckless driving. She politely disagreed. That was all it took. His tone turned harsher, his words more aggressive. When she stood her ground without raising her voice, he added more charges: resisting authority, obstruction. It was all fabricated, but he spoke as if it were absolute truth. Most people would have panicked. Most would have apologized just to end the situation. But Elena didn't argue. She didn't beg. She simply looked at him, calm and composed, and said something that caught him off guard. "I'll see you in court." Daniel smirked as he walked away. He had heard empty threats before. People said things like that all the time, but they never followed through. Even if they did, it didn't matter. His word always carried more weight than theirs. He filed his report that night, confident and careless, certain this would be just another easy win. Days passed, and soon the court date arrived. Daniel walked into the courtroom with his usual confidence, uniform perfectly pressed, badge gleaming under the lights. He nodded at a few familiar faces, already expecting the outcome. In his mind, this was routine. Another citizen, another story, another victory. But then Elena walked in. And everything shifted. She wasn't alone. Behind her stood a team of legal professionals, focused, prepared, and serious. But what truly unsettled Daniel wasn't the lawyers. It was Elena herself. She walked in with quiet confidence, her posture straight, her expression calm. There was no fear in her eyes. No hesitation. Just certainty. For the first time, Daniel felt a small crack in his confidence. As the case began, he stuck to his story. His voice was firm, his words practiced. He repeated every detail exactly as he had written it in his report. For a moment, it seemed like everything was going his way again. Then Elena's lawyer stood up. "Your Honor," he said clearly, "we would like to present evidence." A screen lit up in the courtroom. Daniel's chest tightened. The video began to play. It was body cam footage. Not edited. Not filtered. The raw, uncut truth. The room fell silent as every second of the encounter unfolded. His harsh tone. His baseless accusations. The way Elena remained calm while he escalated everything. Every word he had twisted in his report was now exposed in its original form. Daniel felt the weight of every second. He shifted uncomfortably, his confidence slipping away. "This doesn't show the full situation," he tried to interrupt. The judge raised a hand. "Let it play." And it did. When the video ended, the silence in the courtroom was heavier than any noise. The same badge that once gave Daniel power now felt like a burden he couldn't carry. The judge looked directly at him, eyes filled not with respect, but disappointment. Officer Hayes, the judge said firmly, this court expects integrity from those who enforce the law. What we have seen here is a clear abuse of authority. Elena was given a chance to speak. She stood up, her voice steady and controlled. I didn't come here for revenge, she said. I came here because this shouldn't happen to anyone else. Those words hit harder than the video. For the first time in years, Daniel had nothing to say. The charges against Elena were dismissed immediately. But that was just the beginning. An internal investigation was opened. His past actions, once ignored, once buried, were now being questioned. The system that had protected him was now watching him. Weeks later, Daniel stood alone. No uniform. No badge. No authority. Just a man facing the consequences of everything he thought he could get away with. And Elena? She walked out of that courtroom stronger than ever, not just cleared of false charges, but as someone who proved a powerful truth, staying calm, standing firm, and trusting the truth can bring even the most powerful people to justice. Because in the end, it's not the badge that defines a person. It's what they do when no one is supposed to be watching.